Hey, scholars. So I've been reading your essays, and obviously we need some work on, again, thesis. So here are 18 points that I want you to know. Then I have examples and suggestions. Okay. Number one, the thesis is the main idea of the essay, the point you're trying to make. If you have no idea what you're trying to say, stop writing, walk away, come back. Number two, it's often expressed as a one or two sentence statement. Number three, it determines the content of your essay. If you bring in Young, Goodman, Brown at the end of your essay, but obviously it was not mentioned in the beginning of your essay, well, guess what? It's out of context, out of the box. So if you promise me you're going to be talking about the quarterbacks, Foles and Wentz, and then you suddenly decide to talk about the defense, well, that's a problem. Number four, everything the writer says must be logically related to the thesis. Number five, in advanced essays, the thesis may be implied rather than stated. Right? So that can be done, although this is only in advanced essays. Number six, it must not be a fact, i.e., example, the sun is hot. It should be assertive, declarative, and debatable. Number eight, the thesis should be more broad than the content that will prove the validity of the essay's point. Number nine, the thesis is the direction. It provides a roadmap. Number 10, the thesis may transform and change as you read, research, and write. This is normal and actually encouraged. That's why you write a working thesis. Ask yourself, what do I want to prove in this essay? What is the takeaway? If you don't know, the reader won't know. Number 12, in some essays, the thesis may be delayed until the end of the essay. The thesis gains prominence at the end, but this is only on occasion or if the subject is controversial, like abortion. Why turn off half your audience at the beginning? Number 13, certain types of writing do not need thesis statements. Diaries, narratives, they still need a point, and descriptive essays, personal writing. Number 14, thesis should dictate the length of discussion. Right? So don't write a thesis where you'll need 5 hours to write an essay when you have 45 minutes. 15, the thesis should be the most important point about your topic. Number 16, what I want to say about this topic is that, and then delete that formulaic opening. So if you can think of what I want to say about this topic is, and then write it, and then just cut out that first part. Number 17, the thesis in most papers is either at the end of the first paragraph or at the beginning of the paragraph. 18, a thesis is not a purpose statement. A thesis makes an assertion. A purpose statement describes what you are trying to do, like this. I plan to explain that revenge plays a major role in the Scarlet Letter, right? That's a purpose statement. Many of your thesis statements in your Scarlet Letter were purpose statements. All right, here are some examples. One of the most prominent examples in body language is eye behavior. All right, so she's going to talk about the potency of eye behavior. There's other types of body language. She's going to talk about eye behavior and its potency. Number 2, Americans can be identified into 3 groups: smokers, non-smokers, and the expanding pack of us who have quit. All right, so we have a divided thesis into 3, and we know exactly where Franklin Zierig is going. Number 3, over the past 10 to 15 years, it has become apparent that eating disorders have reached epidemic proportions among adolescents. We're not talking about the elderly. We're not talking about guys in their 40s. We're talking about, in the last 10 to 15 years, eating disorders, epidemic, adolescence. And then Helen Guthrie is going to support that with evidence. Clutter is the disease of American writing. We are a society strangling in unnecessary words, circular construction, pompous frills, and meaningless jargon. Okay, William Ziegner, we get it. Clutter is the disease of American writing. When I say for you guys to cut the fat, cut the fat, cut the fat, this is what I'm talking about. You contain many more words in a sentence than you need. All right, here are some suggestions. In order to write a thesis, you need to think about these 8 things. A, be very familiar with the work you are analyzing. If you have not read the Scarlet Letter, don't plan to do well in the Scarlet Letter. Now, you still may do well because you just have ascertained X, Y, and Z, but number 1 is really important. Number 2, to have thought about the work you're analyzing. Number 3, to have confidence and conviction that your thesis is indeed correct. Number 4, to have compiled examples and evidence that clearly supports your position. Okay, you've collected all these examples and evidence. Now Make a hypothesis about this. What can you make from all these examples? Sometimes you go from, I have a thesis, let me find the examples, but really, oftentimes it's like, let me find the examples and let me then put them all under a microscope and come up with this is the difference between deductive and inductive reasoning, which we'll be talking about. You need to spend time revising and retooling your thesis. Number 6, to have your thoughts clear so the reader is clear at your point. And number 7, a good reader will call out BS right away. And number 8, avoid complicating your thesis with excess baggage. Many of your thesis statements are going on vacation and you're loading up the bag. Simplify your life. Toss out what is not needed. Strip the thesis down to nouns and verbs. Guys, I hope this helps. Bye.